Well, welcome back to Conscious TV Part 2 with John Lash. And I hope you guys enjoy that. We'll definitely get a little deeper, and I'll let Tom finish up.
Want to go with my condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance. That statement has so much meaning, especially with a guest like this. I'd like to welcome John Lash, the Telestai of the 21st century. And if you'd like to continue with what we were talking about, the Sophia myth.
Right. The Sophia myth, as I call it, rhymes with desire. Sophia rhymes with desire. It's a little Gnostic insider joke. I would point out that whatever attracts people to my book, Not in His Image, is probably many different things. Some people have said it's the most liberating book they've ever read, and it's very shocking. It's a book that shakes up belief systems. But if you were to ask me what is so special about my book, I would say that it is very unique in this respect. It's the only place on the planet so far that you're going to find this myth. Because I am the only Gnostic scholar who has attempted to reconstruct this myth and to tell it as it would have been told by the Telestai. This myth, this vision story of the divine Sophia, who is the planet we live on, was what aimed them. Remember, the word Telestai means those who are aimed. And what aimed them, what gave them purpose and direction in all that they did, was this story. So I would say, look at my website, metahistory.org, or look into the book, and just give yourself the opportunity to consider this story, because it's a story that you have never heard before. I can guarantee you that. There are many stories going around, many stories, of course, many speculations about how the planet Earth was created, or where did humanity originate, or were we engineered by extraterrestrials, or were we created by God pointing his finger, or, whatever. There are many, many stories, and I just want to point out that this is one story you haven't heard yet, and you might be very surprised to look into this story of the divine Sophia.
So we were talking about the connection and how we connect to the Sophia. There's some terms like deep ecology and
Deep ecology. Yeah.
There's several other terms that you use: error theory, the Christos intercession. That's what it was. Now,
right.
Will you explain? Can you give us a brief overview of what the whole Sophia mythology is? Now, Sophia was an aeon that emanated from the center of the galaxy.
Right. See, I'm looking at my clock here. It's 3:15. So I'm going to take 5 minutes to give you this overview. Okay? According to the Gnostic myth of the divine Sophia, the setting of the whole story is in our galaxy. The solar system to which the Earth belongs, is located in a spiral galaxy. The spiral galaxy consists of a core, which is hub of the galaxy, and a kind of pinwheel design of 4 or 5 very thin limbs or arms that spiral out. This is called the regular lenticular spiral. And the Gnostic creation myth is very specific. It's not about creation of the whole universe. It's not about some vague, abstract notion of how things came to be. It describes an event that happened in this spiral galaxy of ours. And according to this story, the center of the spiral galaxy that we inhabit, called the Milky Way galaxy, is called a pleroma, which means the fullness or plenitude. And in that center is where the gods live. Now, what are these gods? They're actually high-powered, snake-like currents of divine energy, but they are alive and awake. They don't have bodies, but they're more like frequencies and currents of energy, super intelligent, alive, awake, capable of feeling. And these are called aeons. And the aeons in the galactic core actually project experiments into the limbs of the galaxy. This is the Gnostic picture. Because no world, no planet, or no sun can exist in the galactic core, because it is such it is a realm, a region of such high and powerful energy that it consists merely of a mass of raw white light, star matter, that is not formed into any body. So no animal form, obviously, can inhabit the center of the galaxy. But the Gnostics depict the aeons, or the cosmic galactic gods, as sort of like scientists and artists who want to create experimental worlds and then observe how those worlds unfold. So they project, with the power of their mind and their intention, they project these experiments into the region of the galactic limbs. And in the region of the 4 or 5 galactic arms that are spiraling around the core, world systems do arise. Suns and stars appear, planets appear, and on these planets live different life forms, and these are the experiments of the gods who inhabit the center of the galaxy. This is actually the Gnostic vision of our galaxy. Now, how then did the Earth appear? What kind of an experiment does the Earth involve? Well, according to them, it involves a very special, exceptional experiment, because normally the aeons, or gods, in the galactic center project their experiments into the limbs, but they themselves do not get involved in the experiment. They sort of sit back in their laboratory, in their headquarters at the hub of the galaxy, and they observe what is happening in the many worlds that are unfolding among the 200 billion stars in the galactic limbs. But the Gnostic myth tells the story of one special, exceptional case, where there was one aeon, and her name was Sophia. The aeons are gendered, male and female. That may disturb you, but it's more or less like positive and negative currents of energy. There was one aeon, gendered female, called Sophia, who projected, who in combination with another aeon called Christos, projected an experiment. They produced the human genome, which is called in Gnostic myth the anthropos. And the human genome, according to the Gnostics, was originated in the center of our galaxy. So there's the Gnostic answer to where the human species originates. It originated as a divine experiment. The genome was actually, the form of the genome was actually imagined in the same way that a team of engineers would imagine a bridge or a building. But it could not be built in the place that it was imagined. It had to evolve and emerge in a place where the material was provided for it to develop. So they projected this divine intention of the human species, the anthropos, out into the galactic limbs and seeded it, as it were, in the galactic limbs. And from this template or genome, many strains of the human species could emerge, not just one, but many. So the Gnostic view is a view of panspermia. So finally, down to the 5th minute, Sophia had an outrageous form of behavior. They used the word prunikos. They called her prunikos, which means outrageous, exceeding the normal boundaries of godlike behavior, you could say. Sophia, who with the Christos aeon had conceived and constructed the human genome, was so fascinated by the human experiment that she actually plunged from the galactic center and became involved in the evolution of the world where that experiment would appear. How can you imagine that happening? Well, actually, scientists lately have detected the strange anomaly of a kind of tunnel or plume, as if there had been a plume of energy from the galactic center directly out to the region where the solar system is located. This is a scientific finding of the last 3 or 4 years, which confirms the Gnostic view that there was like a power surge of this pure galactic high-frequency energy from the center out into the third arm of our galaxy. And there that energy condensed slowly under the conditions of atomic matter that are operating in the galactic limbs. It condensed into a globe and it became the Earth. So the Earth is really the metamorphosis of this high-frequency divine power surge from the cosmic center. And that in mythological terms is called the fall of the goddess Sophia.
So then, deep ecology and transsentience, it would be the act of connecting with this consciousness.
Totally. What I mean by deep ecology, on metahistory orb, I define gnosis as saying gnosis is the deep ecology of the human spirit. What is deep ecology? Deep ecology is the recognition that the planet we live on is not just a place for us to live, like a house we rent. It's not just a location we find ourselves, like a city we live in, Tokyo or Chicago. It is actually a divine world in its own right. Even if we were not here on the earth, if the human species were not here, the earth would have its own reason to exist, because it is the metamorphosis of this divine frequency from the galactic center. It is a divine experiment. But we are intimately involved with the mind of the goddess. And so deep ecology is, and with her purposes. And so deep ecology for us means to recognize that we, as the human species, are part of a divine experiment cooperative with the planet Earth. And that we only know who we are, and we only know our mission as a species and our purpose as individuals when we enter into that experiment, when we recognize that the Earth is a living being and that she has a purpose and a design for us. She is the goddess who fell from the Pleroma center. She involved herself outrageously in an experiment, and we are part of that experiment. So recognition is the word that I would use. When we recognize that, that is a momentous transforming insight for us, because it means that we do not look anywhere outside of ourselves for the spiritual source of our own life and consciousness. We are looking right at it, and it is looking back at us. And interactivity with the intelligence of the earth and the divine design of the earth and the emotions of the earth, that is human destiny. When we lose that connection, we not only begin to die and degenerate, but we lose all sense of who we are and of why we are here.
I would like to give an example of that. I've recently started growing herbs in my house. I don't have room for a garden. So I would sit next to my plants and meditate. And I recently started growing Italian parsley. And the bag said that the seeds are supposed to start sprouting in about 2 weeks. In about 6 days, they started growing, and now it's not even 2 weeks yet, and they're just growing really rapidly. Is this what you mean by the connecting yourself with the Sophia spirit, where you're actually helping nature grow or becoming part of nature growing?
That is it. That is precisely it, and that is the direction to go, to approach her. She is nature. You could define paganism as the spiritual view that sees nature as divine.